Hi there, art friends. I'm Robin, and this is the first lesson of 5 as we work towards creating our own illustrated children's storybook. Now we'll start off by creating our own unique characters and learn the basics of writing a simple storyline. Now once we've decided on our main character, then we will learn how to give it some personality and how to draw it in different positions. We have lots to do, so let's get started. Now let's see what we're going to need. First of all, in your art box you'll find your 4 eco dies, you'll find a brush, you'll find some A3 paper and your pastels. And along with that you're going to need some scissors and your glue stick and some water. Now we need to decide on what our book is going to be about, and we need to choose just one main character. Now think of a simple animal that you'd like to use. Now I'm just going to draw a simple dog. The shapes have to be simple. We're going to cut them out of paper quite a few times, so we don't need them to be too complicated. Maybe if we're going to draw a simple dog, we might just draw his body and then his legs like this, maybe a little tail, a head, some ears, and maybe a nose. Yeah, that's cool. And that's just our simple dog shape. Or maybe we're going to do a bird. So I'm going to do simple tail, simple shape, a head, and a beak. Oh, and some legs, of course. Okay. Now you might draw a fish. So once again, just choose a simple shape. So here's my fish, and he has an eye, some fins, and maybe some gills. Okay. Something else you might draw, maybe a cat. So trying to keep the shapes very simple. So here's our cat, a long tail for our cat, little legs, a body. It's a very fat cat, this one. Simple head, simple ears, whiskers, and some eyes. Now, once you've chosen your character, and I think I'm going to choose the bird for our story, so I'm just going to pop my piece away and concentrate on the bird. I don't want every page of my book to look the same. I want the bird to be doing lots of different things. So I need to draw my bird in different positions. So let's go back. Here's my bird, my little tail, and here's its body, and here's its head. Now, if I put the beak here and then eyes down here, it looks like it's looking in a different way. Or maybe if I do my bird looking up, I can put my head, maybe he can be looking up by just putting his beak up there, looking up. I might even draw it front on. Here's my bird, here's my head, and here's the beak. It's a very fat bird, that one. Okay. Now I think to make sure we know it's the same bird right throughout the whole story, you need to have a couple of things that are going to connect it. So make sure your dog, if you're going to do a dog, has the same collar. I'm going to give my bird a little tiny top feather. So when I see each character, I sort of know that it's the same sort of bird. Now the same with your cat, you might give him a certain amount of spots, so make sure the spots are in the same space. So I'm pretty happy with my bird. I'm thinking about how am I going to make it look the other way. So here's my body, just going around, here's my body. And maybe I could put the head down this way, looking down here. So I want you just to play. Once you've chosen your character, grab your pastel and your paper and then just play with your animal, with your main character, and see what you can come up with. Lots of different ways. Now you're going to have some that don't work and some that do work. So do as many as you can, and then you can choose probably the 4 or 5 that do work, that are going to be the ones we're going to work on later on. So I might draw a couple more and then let's see how we go. So I've done a few more, one facing the other way, one sort of lying down having a rest, and the other one doesn't work, so I might not use him. So what we've got is our character and some positions that we can use for him. Oh, I forgot to put his little bit on the top. Okay, there we go. So that's our character, and we're going to use him. Now the storyline. Now children's books are repetitive and they're simple. We don't want him to go on lots and lots of adventures or crazy things. We want something that's simple because we're going to use our character in, say, 5 pages. 5 pages is probably enough. So we want our character to do the same sorts of things. So let's have a think. What do birds like to do? I think my bird likes to chase worms. So I'm thinking about what would happen if he was trying to find a worm and the worm kept running away and he couldn't get it. So that's probably a good start. So with your character, try and find a story that is pretty repetitive, but at the end has some sort of conclusion. So here's my bird I'm thinking about. He's trying to find a worm. He sees the worm. He can't get the worm. And at the end, how am I going to make this exciting? We want something that's not going to be expected in this end of the story. So instead of him just getting the worm at the end, how can we make that a little twist? So when you get to the last page, you go, oh, who thought of that? So I'm going to make my worm maybe a tail. So when you only see a little bit of the worm for the whole of the book, and at the end, when he goes to get the worm isn't a worm, it's a tail of another bird or an animal or something. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what, if you watch any cartoons on television or any movies, they use a storyboard. So what they do is they use a piece of paper and draw for some squares of what the book is going to look like. So here are maybe 4 will be enough. I'll just do 4 pages. So I'm going to put him in the middle. There he is. There's my bird. Okay. And maybe here's a little worm. I don't want him to show all the worm. There he is. Okay, so then I'm going to put the worm maybe over here. Put my worm over here. And then my bird is going to now look over this way. So using my illustrations that I had here, I'm going to use this one where he was looking the other way. I don't want all my pages to look the same. So he's going to look down that way to find the little worm. Right, now I need to find out the next one. So I've got him looking forward, looking down. Now I sort of like this one where he's sort of standing up. So I might just do my bird this way. A few little things. And little tummy. And of course, oh sorry, forgot his little top knot there. And his beak. So where is the bird? My worm could be just sneaking over here, I think. Could be just sneaking over here, a little tiny bit there. The last page is where we find out that the little worm is not a worm, but a tail. So let's have a look. I might even just do part of the bird this time. We don't have to do him all. So here's his head. Here's his little beak. And here is, now what can I do? I'm thinking I could do another bird, or it could be an animal. And I think I might go for the animal because I sort of did like my cat. So I might just draw my cat here. Here's his ears, and here's the tummy, and here is the long tail, and there's my, okay. Then there's the tail, that's the worm that was in these. Now these are not going to be your best drawing, they're just what we call like a sketch, because my cat looks a bit funny there, but I'm sure when I get my scissors out and start to cut him out, I'll refine it a bit. So just do whatever you want, just to give yourself an idea. So here's my bird at the start, he's looking for the little worm. Here he is, seeing it. There he is standing, little tiny end, and here is the cat and the bird. Now, I think I will have speech bubbles. Now, speech bubbles you probably know from your normal, your reading, are little bits like this that give us a chance for the bird to say a few things. Maybe the cat could say something like, "Leave my tail alone," or "Go away, bird," or something like that. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. We've got a starting point. We've got our bird, and we've got this one standing like that. We've got our cat and the bird. So, oh, I forgot my little bit there. So there it is. Now here we have our storyboard, but we need to do a cover and we need to give our story a name. Now think about people you know. You can name it after your sister or your brother or your grandma. And I'm thinking about a bird's name. I'm going to call my bird Barry. Barry's a cool name. Now Barry, what is he? He's not on an adventure really, is he? He's just out and about. So I'm going to call it, let's have a think. Barry finds a friend. Cool. So I'm just going to write that down here. Barry finds a friend. When you choose the name of your storybook, don't make it too long. It doesn't have to go on and on and on. Just a simple introduction. Barry finds a friend. And let's see, that's a great start. It's your job now to start to draw your characters, to have the storyboard done, to have the characters named and ready to go. And our next lesson, we're going to make some crazy, amazing, bright coloured paper to start putting some colour into our storybook. Okay? Look forward to seeing you then.